Welcome in, basketball fans. It's another episode of Chuckin Buckets. Hey, I'm Coach I. Got my guy KB with me. What's going on, Biddles?
It's good, man. I'm excited about this one, man.
That's right, man. Listen, man, y'all know we talk all things basketball, college basketball, NBA basketball, anything to do with hooping, man. Today we got a special episode for y'all, man. Here in South Carolina, man. We y'all know it's January. Every third Monday of January is celebration of MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., man. And here in the Upstate, man, we're gonna have a special event kicking off this coming Thursday, man. And we brought some guys on to talk about this event, man. This event's called the HBCU MLK Unity Invitational, and it's of course, we're Chucking Buckets. We talk basketball, and there's some basketball going to be played, but there's so much more that goes into this event. Listen, man, to be honest with you, I'm kind of hyped for it, KB. How you feeling, man?
No, definitely, man. I think this is the kind of first time having, this type of event with this type of kind of noise around it, good noise at that, positive vibes, almost culture changing a little bit for the area, which is good, man, and definitely needed for the Greenville area.
Big facts, man. Big facts, man. The first person we're gonna bring up, man. Listen, this is the organizer of the event, man. Man, this guy go way back, man. We've been knowing each other since like elementary school. Listen, he was a talented baller in his own right, and doing big things for the city, man. So let's go ahead and bring him on. CC Ivery, the organizer of the HBCU MLK invitation. What's going on, CC?
What up, fellas? How y'all doing this evening?
Hey man, doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good, man. Glad you could stop by and give us some details and talk about your event, man. So let's just get into it, CC, man.
Yeah.
Uh, Tell the people just basically on like what is the MLK Unity event?
So the MLK Unity Invitational, man, is a 16 uh team program. Well, we're bringing in 16 HBCU programs from around the country. And what it is, I wanted to highlight HBCU basketball in the upstate. You know, Isaiah, growing up, man, we didn't really have that platform of seeing
Right.
a lot of collegiate basketball here. You had to leave outside of the city to even have that experience. So, I always knew that at some point in time, I wanted to create something around HBCU. I didn't know that it was going to be actually this and this fast. Because to be honest with you, man, I was on the Hoop It Up 3x3
Hmm.
HBCU tour, which Hoop It Up is owned by Kev, and so we were on the HBCU 3x3 tour when this opportunity started presenting itself, because quite naturally, the 3x3 tour was for intramural students on HBCU campuses. I was
Hmm.
dealing with the the I can't even think of the name of it right now. The non-scholarship athletes that was on the
Okay.
campus. And so what it did was it created a buzz around the HBCU campuses in South Carolina.
Mm.
And then once we finished that, just the tour, we brought all of the kids from the HBCUs around the state to Greenville for the HBCU 3x3 state championship. So we had about 140 kids that we brought into Greenville back in March. And so when everyone started seeing these kids downtown at the eateries, at the restaurants, they start asking questions, where you from, because they had on their alumni gear, the school
Hmm.
colors. And so the questions started being asked. And so then after we had the championships, a couple of things came, just fell in my lap, man, to where it could possibly materialize. And so then um, we had we've been at it now about 7 months. We've had about 7 months to plan this, but I knew we wanted to showcase the HBCU schools from around the country here in Greenville.
Yeah.
My plight was over the last several years, man, I've seen a lot of talent stay here in Greenville. And unfortunately, like I know, man, it's a lot of talent here in Greenville, but there's no outlet for them, you know?
Yeah.
Um, every kid, even, such as us, everybody wanted to play D1 ball. Everybody wanted to play, at the bigger schools, but at the end of the day, you have to play where your talent allows you to play. Um,
Right.
Now in Greenville, they're not even given that option anymore. everybody is being told that you're going to the Dukes, the Clemsons, the Carolinas, and it's only so many scholarships on those rosters. So what I wanted to do was put us in front of us to show those kids here and the surrounding counties that there are other options to continue playing the game that you love and get a quality education.
Big
And then
facts.
everything else that materialized around us has just happened to be something that's been nothing but a blessing, man, with a full week of events leading up to the games.
That's right. And we're going to talk about a lot of those events too and get a couple of questions in here, man. Let's bring on our next guest, man. And this guy, for the past 12 years, has served as an athletic director for Legacy Early College here in Greenville, South Carolina. Also, the basketball coach of the men's national team, man. Let's bring in BJ Jackson, man. Another guy I grew up with, man. Went to the same high school, just a little bit ahead of time, man. What's going on, BJ?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Man, doing pretty good,
Okay.
man. Glad you could take some time
Right,
out to
Coach
talk
Jack.
about this, man. Like CC was saying, man, like we trying to basically, create some more. He's trying to create some more exposure to these guys that are here in Greenville. You've been great in the high school aspect of bringing some eyes to the upstate with your basketball program. Y'all a national Nike basketball program doing your thing, man. Just talk about participating in this event.
I think it's a great opportunity for our kids. One, coming from Legacy Early College, we want, we one of the schools that people phrase us as a predominant black school, but it also gives our scholar athletes an opportunity as well to play in front of HBCUs because, like TC said, a lot of our kids have been told you need to go to a Power Five, you need to be at the Duke and Clemson. If you don't go there, you're not successful. Where that's actually a lie. Like we tell our kids, you want to get to the opportunity, get to a college where one, your parents ain't got to pay for anything. Two, and once you get a degree, the sky's the limit for you.
Big facts, man. And man, the things that y'all are doing for the upstate, man, is just amazing, man. KB, I know you said you had a couple of questions for the guys, man. You go ahead with yours and then I'll jump in with mine as well.
Oh yeah, definitely appreciate y'all kind of jumping on. CC, you kind of touched on this, man. It's kind of a two-part question, man. But for you, man, definitely, kind of what's kind of inspired you to get to that point is kind of the first question, which you kind of touched on that already. But I also believe in like folks having an end game. You know what I'm saying? What's the end game for everything? Is this kind of the end game? Be like, man, this is what I really wanted to bring to the city. This is the event that's kind of topping all events to try to get you to where you at. Like, where do you see this at, like, 5 years, 10 years from now?
So back to point to your first question, for me, man, it was all about the game. I've been a diehard, you know, basketball junkie, man, since 6 years old. So, I love the game. I'm passionate about the game. I believe in respecting the game in all manner. Um, and when you played and competed for so long, man, and you see people cheat the game, you got to figure out a way to get the game back to its original form. Is being authentic, allowing kids to just go out and be creative, and chase something, man. All of us here, we played the sport, and it's afforded us a lot. It's afforded us brotherhoods that we would never be able to replace without the game of basketball. But when you start looking at where the sport is now, it's not very many BJ Jacksons floating around Greenville, man. With all due respect to all of the coaches here, they are here.
Right.
But for me, man, I have to, I like to check your DNA. I grew up playing with Hall of Famers, some of the best to ever do it. And so when I look at basketball, it's just in a totally different eye. But I do know that there is a way for us to fix that problem now. You look at basketball now, man, you see kids, they're more interested in the rewards of basketball than the commitment of basketball. They're looking at the NIL deals, and they're looking at the TikTok videos, and that ain't the grind, man. The grind is to use basketball to get to the next point. And that's what I did. I took what I knew best. I took what I was passionate about, which was the game of basketball. And I knew that I wanted to transform and transcend into other things. And I've been able to do that from being around guys like Kevin and Shaman and Merle, and being able to talk and understand the business of basketball. And so then once I kind of got that feel and got that niche up under me, I knew that the city needed this. And more or less the city, the kids, they deserved it. So many guys paved the way for us to play this game, man. So many guys, when I was growing up, you know, they had families, but they were taking that paycheck to put us in AAU tournaments. And it was only 1 or 2 AAU programs in Greenville back then. So it wasn't like your parents could pay for you to get on this team. You had to get out there and go work. I remember the first time I tried out for Metro, man, I got cut, but I couldn't be upset. But you got to look at who I got, who beat me out. You know, you had John Irby, Nick Griffin, Merle Cole. You know, you had all of those guys. So, you know, here I am, 15, 16 years old. You can't be mad at that. You have to wait your turn. But now everybody wants that instant gratification. But moving forward with this invitational, man, I think just the buzz that I've been able to receive from the universities and these coaches, man, it's been a blessing. 5 years from now, man, I think we will be, if not right there at the level of CIAA, we'll be somewhere right in there, you know, still tucked in between Atlanta and Charlotte like we are, but we're giving our kids something to see. You know, Atlanta kids and Charlotte kids, they get to see their idols. You know, they can go down the street, they can touch it, they can feel it. You know, they got the Braves, the Hawks, the Hornets, the Panthers. You know, they can see it, they can touch it. Our kids, we don't have that. So I knew something like this had to be created, man, in order to get those kids to start thinking outside of the box. And so yeah, man, I'm hoping that this thing gets just so much wind up under it, man, that Greenville embraces it. They come out and give these kids something that we haven't had in a very long time in Greenville, man, and that's hope for our kids. You know, and I'm not just talking about in the sports realm. I'm talking about the social side, the camaraderie, just seeing all of us together, having fun, because that's what we used to do, Isaiah. You know, you and BJ, y'all know, man, you know, you would play your hardest games on Tuesdays and Fridays, but, you know, on Saturday, everybody hung out together, man. And, you know, the game wasn't even about who won or lost. It was just, you know, that brotherhood, man, like being able to
Big
get
facts.
on this like now and chop it up.
That's right, man. And this is a big event, like you say, to be able to have stuff in the city where you can see it. And I'm with you, man. I hope this thing gets as big as like the SEC women's tournament that the Well has, you know, here in the city. That way our youth can, you know, put their eyes and hands and touch this thing, you know, so that they can see what is possible and get that camaraderie, that love. Cause I think you hit on the CC. Like that's the difference. I tell a lot of the young kids, like, man, listen, we was trying to get to college, but at the end of the day, we was just hooping against our boys. It was competitive on the court, but then we was boys off the court. And the big thing is, you know, like we really wasn't even competing for state. Really, we was competing for, I'm gonna see CC at the mall on Saturday. I need to be
Yeah.
able to tell him I beat him on
Yeah.
Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
It was never about, you know, it was never about us trying to see who was going down to Columbia.
Right.
In the upstate, it was we bragging throughout the neighborhoods, you know, we bragging at characters or where who we go. That was our thing. But we all had a love for the game. I
Right.
don't see that same enthusiasm in a lot of kids. And I've been around a lot of programs, and I'm not saying that because BJ is on here. I sit from afar and I watch the things that he's done since, you know, being a mentee of Louis. You know, so
Mhm.
I kind of say he got that Louis Golden DNA in him, man. You know what I'm saying? He real mild. He don't say much. You know, he stay in the cut, but he know the game, and the
Yeah.
proof is in the pudding. All you got to do is look at his resume.
Right.
350 wins, man. 3 national championships, multiple cats in the league, man. Show me somebody that's done did that. Man, you got to
That's a
get that
big
man
fact.
his flowers, man. You have to.
That's a big
And
fact.
that's why that's how we got to the point. Because I wanted people to really understand, you know, they don't give you your flowers until, you know, you're either older or you pass on. Man, let this man know that we appreciate what he's done for the game of basketball. It's hard to get 100. It's hard to get one win. You're talking 350.
Like I
And
say, man, bringing national eyes to the
oh
upstate,
man,
man.
come on,
Bringing
man.
national eyes to the upstate, BJ. Being that national coach, you know, you get to travel all around the country. Just got back from, you know, Indiana playing the national schedule. You get to play the Oak Hills and all of those kind of teams, man. With doing all that traveling, what does this, like, you know, along with that, what does it being in this type of event mean to you?
I mean, you know, one, be able to play in front of our home crowd and stuff, and represent legacy in our community. You know, like I said earlier, for us, a lot of people look at our school as a predominantly Black school and, you know, low income and stuff. And to get to where we are now, what we're doing, not just with our basketball program, but with our academics, you know, for the past 7 years, we put 100% of kids in college, 100% placement. You know, we talk about a lot of stuff that we do. We had close to 14 kids that not only did they graduate from high school last year, but they also got a 2-year degree from Legacy, through Greenwood Tech or North Greenwood. So for us, it's just more than just the athletic piece. It's more the academic in the community as well. And being able to showcase us Sunday in front of everybody in Greenville is a blessing for us.
Hey man, all that is great. Like I say, man, these guys are doing big things here in the upstate. And like CC mentioned, we sandwich in between Charlotte and Atlanta. So we got to make sure we put our mark on this region as well, because those cities have these type of things. KB, didn't you had another question to get in there?
Yeah. This probably I'm gonna go ahead and throw this to BJ now, man. Just to kind of go back to what CC is saying, like the impact you've had in the community. We can look at the stats, right? We can look at the wins. We can look at things that are measurable. But I knew of you from a mutual friend, Alicia Penson. She put me on to you years ago, and we talked about Dorian, we talked about Jacoye, we talked about the impact. But what I know is that you impact these kids in a different way that's not on the stat sheets, right? You know what I'm saying? Something that's not measurable when it comes to impacting the community. Like what drives that for you?
For me, it's just I want to see these kids get a better opportunity. Growing up, like we all talked about, for us in this area, we all didn't have the opportunities that are bestowed upon a lot of kids now, and just being able to be that middle party and just trying to get them to a better situation. Because like we said, a lot of us grew up, our parents worked third shift. Probably gave out their last dime for us to be able to go and be successful in AAU basketball stuff. So, like I told our kids earlier today, I won't put you in a situation where your parents will have to pay $50,000, $60,000 a year for you to go off to school. I want you to be able to go off to school and be debt free and stuff.
Yeah. And that's definitely big, because I'm still paying student loans. So so we definitely need to get away from some of that. So we definitely appreciate you trying to get some of these parents a little relief, man. Let's just talk about some of the events. Like, we talk a lot about the basketball portion of it, CC, but hey man, there's a lot of stuff going on with this event, man. Kicking off Thursday, man. Talk about the MLK Scholarship Gala that you're having.
Yeah, man. So we like I said, it's just been a blessing, man, with this whole thing, man, having the Greenwood support, man, just people just calling from all over, man. I'm talking about all over the country, asking how they can get involved. And then, shout out to LaSheryl Coleman over at Legacy with BJ, man. We were talking about getting BJ and the kids involved. And then, we started, just having in-depth conversation about what other impact we could have in our community. And she said, have you ever thought about a scholarship gala? I said, nah, we may not have time. And this is back in the end of October.
Yeah.
But 1st of November, man, we hit the road running, man. And I'm pleased to say, man, we got over $90,000, close to $100,000 in scholarships that we'll be giving away on this coming Thursday, man, at the MLK Scholarship Gala. And that's 30 days of work, man. So I can only imagine what we'll be able to do with a full year of being able to go out and network and talk to local universities and schools about getting our kids on their campuses. But yeah, that's the gala is just the kickoff, man. I'm super excited about it. The Greenville community has embraced it. And then, we're starting with the youth. And then on Friday, man, we are honoring 12 trailblazers of the Greenville County, including Merle Cole Sr., St. Payton, Chandra Dillard, Xanthine Norris, Theo Mitchell, Lillian Brock Fleming, J.M. Fleming, and so many others. But what I wanted to do was, man, growing up in Fieldcrest, man, all of these individuals were either board members or some type of associate to Phyllis Sweetley. And that was our hub in the summer times and after school programs and things of that magnitude. And as I grew to be a young man, each one of these individuals said something to me over my time at Phyllis Sweetley when I was coming up. And I never forgot those things. I've always remembered everything and each thing that every one of those individuals said to me, and so I've never had an opportunity to physically say thank you. So when I was planning this, I said I wanted to be able to collectively, while they were all still here, and there were many others that are no longer with us, but I still cherish those moments. But I wanted to get them in a room and literally tell them thank you for building that bridge that I could cross. Because in the inner city, we don't have a lot of positive role models. We didn't see a lot of that.
Yeah.
But when you did interact with those guys, man, they never treated you as if you were any different than their own. And so I just wanted to say thank you, man, for their sacrifice to the Greenville community. They paid the ultimate sacrifice, man. They served for 30, 40 years, and they sat on boards, and they did the things that I hope our generation pick up the mantle and tote, because they've ran the race. And so I wanted to personally tell them thank you for everything, because for their sacrifices, a kid from Fieldcrest is able to put this event on in his hometown. It had to start somewhere. So it would, I refuse to sit in front of anyone and say I got here alone. It started way back when they, made those sacrifices, man, for guys like us to have this opportunity. All of us are successful in our own right. But we didn't get here by ourselves. So the breakfast
Right.
is done, and then we are kicking off. We're finishing up the breakfast. We got the Unity Career Fair, where we have over 60 corporations and schools that'll be in attendance at the Bunsen Coors Wellness Arena for our students to come out and engage and network and talk to the admissions departments and potential employees about what those career opportunities look like down the road. And then, Saturday we got 4 exciting games, man, starting with Bowie State and Shaw. And then on Sunday,
Mhm.
man, we got well, my favorite game on Saturday that I really want to see is the Fayetteville State Clinton game, because Clinton finished second in the nation, well, lost in the national championship last year. And they got some talent up there in Rock Hill, man. They got
Mm.
some true talent up there in Rock Hill. So I'm really excited about that game. But then on Sunday, we have the Resource Day, where we are bringing in several different entities throughout the state, whether it's Medicaid related, insurance related, whatever. Resources are going to be there for our people. So if there's a need, I suggest that, and I hope that our community gets out and come out and get that information that's needed. We all know that our community is the probably the only community that don't share information.
Right.
If somebody get it, we're gonna keep it to ourselves. Um, Immediately following that, man, we got the Worship to the Well service, where we're being led by Pastor Sean Dogan over at Long Branch, man, where we're bringing in a national guest speaker, and we got over 3,000 people committed to being at this church service, man, at the well. And we're gonna honor our Lord and Savior. We're gonna praise together, because when I mentioned it initially, man, they said it couldn't happen. It's like there's no way that you're gonna be able to get multiple Black congregations together at one time to fellowship. And I said, nah, I just don't believe that. So then, I just started reaching out to my resources. And then of course at 4 o'clock, man, we got legacy plan um at the well, man. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what Atlantic Prep has. Myrtle Beach right down the road. But like I said, it gives BJ, for me, that thank you that he deserves. When I asked him, had he ever played in the well with those boys, and he said no, I was like, man, this is crazy. Everything that you've done for the city, your kids have not been able to play on the big stage. So I'm excited just to have him there, man, so that he can get those flowers. I know he got to go out and coach, um, but he deserves it. He doesn't know this. I'm mentioning it to him now, because I didn't even know that he was gonna be on here. But I put his name in the hat, man, for to be honored at the Legends Night on Saturday evening, man, with Gerard Mustaf and all of those guys from the Maryland Terrapins and US Elite Basketball. They're coming in, they're doing a Legends Night. So what they wanted to do was get all the greats from Greenville, the state of South Carolina, James Griffin, Butterball, the Mr. Basketballs of all time, and bring them in because I wanted people to understand what came before the talent that was here. You see James Griffin now, man, and people really don't understand how talented this dude was. You see Squirt, and people don't realize, these boys could go and run out 40, 50 for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, like they were in their backyard hooping. But, we wanted to do that. And then we got the step show on Saturday night, where we got the high school and middle school step show. We got some Divine Nine frats and sorors coming in to support that. And then man, we're gonna end the weekend the weekend off with Monday. We got the my rendition of saying thank you and recreating the March to the Well. The March on Washington. It's called a March to the Well, where we'll start downtown Greenville and we'll march in unison with the mayor, city council, the Greenville community. We'll march to the well. And then we got Legacy Charter High School Drumline. They're going to play for us. We got Jailman, Pep Band, the Color Guards. I just want this to be about Greenville, man. I just want us to create something that lives far beyond us. I want those kids from our communities to walk in that arena and their imagination just go free.
Right.
I want them to just be able to think so far, man, that, what we're able to do now can lead to them creating a better tomorrow. If that's the right words and the right way of putting it, giving them options, putting that exposure in front of them, man, because I'm a firm believer, man, in order to be it, you have to see it. And that's what it was for me, being able to see the things that my childhood friends were able to do because of a basketball. And I'm not talking about on the court, outside of the court. You look at the things that Kevin has been able to do, Shimon has been able to do, Earl has been able to do. You got Mike coaching down at Earth. You got so many levels and so many entities and legs from Greenville that all comes back to basketball. That was the one common thing. That was the common thread that held us together. And I'm excited, man, to have 16 teams. And if you look around the country now at the invitationals, whether it's Chris Paul, Michael B. Jordan, and all of those guys, I'm still amazed. And I'm even to say it in the same breath that we have an invitational in Greenville, South Carolina with 16 schools.
Hey,
they
men's
normally,
and women.
yeah,
Men and women.
Yeah, they normally carry like 4 or 5. We were able to get 16. And we still had universities calling, trying to get in this year. But I'm excited, man. I'm really excited about being able to know that 2025 is pretty much secured. With the schools that have called and said, hey, our kids want to come to Greenville, man. It's a beautiful city. We know that y'all got a basketball post because of the NCAA tournament, the SEC tournament, women's tournament. We had the winter invitational last year. So basketball, believe it or not, in South Carolina, look at the NBA right now. You got Ja, you got Zaya, you got Chris, you got Nick, you got Bryce. We can basically say, we may be in the top 5 states, man, all time of basketball talent. Because you forget X-Man, Ray, it goes on and on. And so I want kids to really understand what the history of basketball is in Greenville County, man. It's serious. Or the state of South Carolina, period.
That's right, man. And as y'all heard, CC laid it out, man. It's a lot of events. It's not just basketball, it's community outreach, it's unity events here and there, it's celebration of some of the pioneers. I mean, just run down the schedule to reiterate what CC's already said, man. Thursday, you got at 6 p.m. at the Kroc Center, you got the MLK Scholarship Gala. Friday, you got the night from 9 a.m. to 11. You got Legacy Breakfast from 11 a.m. to 2. It's the Career Expo. Then you got the coaches and community outreach, where it's a coaches meet and greet for for these HBCU basketball teams. So if you're an alumni or want to or talk to somebody, listen, high school hoopers, it don't never hurt to get out there and put some hands, shake some hands, and you know what I'm saying, start some conversation, tell people where you play. You never know when they're gonna be back uphill or they need a, you know, a point guard or something. But don't be afraid to sell yourself from. But that's from 4:30 to 6:30, and then of course Saturday and Monday the college guys and girls are gonna take the courts. And then Sunday, you got the worship service and the resource day. And then, of course, BJ taking on Atlantic Collegiate Prep in the high school basketball showcase, man. And before we get out of here, you know, BJ, just a little preview of what I know you've been on the road. I know you might not have had a whole bunch of time to look at Atlantic Collegiate Prep, but tell us some things you're thinking, man. How you feeling about going into that game?
I mean, honestly, it's going to be a very good game. Right now, I think they're 11-1. They're led by a former Division I assistant coach, as well as the athletic director down as a former Division I assistant coach. Very disciplined. We don't do what things we need to do. It's going to be a long game for us. But for us, I got to tell our kids, we're going to control the controllables. For us, we got to go out there and defend like we always do and make some baskets and stuff. And hopefully get this win for everybody in Greenville.
Big facts, big facts. KB, you got anything else before we get up out of here, man?
No, that's it, man. I definitely appreciate y'all boys coming on, man, sharing this good knowledge, man. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
Definitely want to say a shout out to CC Ivery and BJ Jackson for coming on the show, Chuckin Buckets, man, to talk about the HBCU MLK Invitational event, man. Y'all make sure y'all get out. If you in South Carolina, or you know, you can make it to South Carolina. It starts Thursday, ends Monday. It's a lot of events to take part in. You can't take part in all of them, but try to get out there to get into one or two of these events, man, if nothing else, man. And get out there and fellowship and just bring unity to the city, man. We thank CC, man, for putting on this event, man, organizing this event. Much needed in the upstate of South Carolina, and we wish y'all nothing but future success, man. Y'all got any words y'all want to say, CC or BJ, before we get up out of here?
Yeah, before we get out, man, I want everybody to go online, man, and get a piece of the apparel, man. I was super blessed to work with a group of guys, man, who has over 40 years of experience working in the NBA, the NHL, the MLS, the NFL. Creatively, man, they're some of the best that I've ever seen do it, man. I was able to sit down and give them my vision of what I wanted as far as apparel in my head, man, and what they came back creatively, man. I'm just overwhelmed that the merchandise turned out with the quality that it did. And so, you know, again, we partnered with several nonprofits, man, to make sure that we take care of home. And so I want to make sure I give those guys their flowers too, because like I said, man, they reached out to me with open arms, man, with these ideas and wanting to really bring all of this together. They said, yo, you can't have something this big without a merchandise tent and apparel tent. And so they went out and created a custom line just for the Invitational, man. So it's all going to be on sale at the arena. It's on pre-sale now on the website. If you go on, the website has got cleaned up. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
That's it. BJ, you got anything you want to say to get out of here?
Man, I want to give CC his flowers, man. He's been getting everybody else their flowers, but I want to give it to CC, as well as my boss lady, Dr. Cheryl Coleman over at Legacy. You know, when she came to me about the opportunity as well as CC, I mean, I think it was like 11:30 at night. CC said both of us. And I just said, let's do it and stuff. And she's been spearheaded for as legacy wise. Cause like he said, we got a drumline participating. I think we got a step team participating. Our cheerleaders, we got people speaking the national anthem. So kudos to Dr. Cheryl Coleman for everything she's done with CC as well.
Yeah, that's what's up. Hey, if y'all want more information about what we talked about the actual events and to purchase tickets, you can go to www.mlkdayunityinvitational.com. Make sure y'all get out, check out the events, and participate, man. Again, man, we want to thank these fellas for joining Chuckin Buckets this week. And this show is brought to you by Swipe Fast. I'm Coach I, and for my guest BJ Jackson, CC Ivory, and my co-host KB, we out of here.
Peace.